in its second year.
It shows no sign of slowing down.
This month marks the one-year anniversary of Russia's full-on invasion of Ukraine. And while some people predicted a quick fall of Kyiv, the Ukraine people have courageously battled on, with the United States military aid playing a key role in balancing the scales. But just how big of a role has the United States played? Well, here are 5 facts about the United States' support for Ukraine's battle for freedom in the first year. Fact number 1. The United States has provided $76.8 billion in aid to Ukraine over the first year of the conflict. The Council on Foreign Relations reports that it is the first time that a European country has been the top recipient of United States foreign aid since the Marshall Plan to rebuild post-war Europe. To put it another way, that's roughly 70 years ago. Fact number 2. The United States ranks 5th in total foreign aid to Ukraine when accounting for the size of each country's economy. Now, the United States has far outpaced its allies in providing aid to Ukraine due to its world-leading economic strength. But, according for the size of each country's gross domestic product, it reveals that the biggest pound-for-pound contributions to the Ukraine war effort are nearby countries such as Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland. Estonia, for example, has spent more than 1% of its GDP on supporting Ukraine, while the United States has spent only 0.4% of its GDP in aid. But of course, we're not talking about actual numbers and actual dollar signs. Fact number 3. Most of the American public supports continuing to provide military aid to Ukraine. A majority of Americans remain committed to supporting Ukraine against Russian aggression. But some war weariness has set in. Compared to an April 2022 poll, public support for military aid to Ukraine has fallen by 21%, from 73% back in 2022 down to 58% now. Still a majority, but definitely falling. Fact number 4. 20% of Americans say the United States isn't sending enough aid, while 26% say the United States is sending too much. The Pew Research Center has found that the percentage of Americans who believe the United States is sending too much aid to Ukraine has steadily risen as the war has dragged on. Current polling has shown that 40% of Republicans and 20% of Americans overall believe that we are spending too much aid to Kyiv. Now, in comparison, we look at last March, where 49% of Republicans and 46% of all Americans thought the United States wasn't sending enough aid to Ukraine. And finally, fact number 5. Current United States aid for Ukraine will likely be exhausted by this summer. So Congress has approved an injection of funding totaling $45 billion in December of 2022. A report by the Center of Strategic and International Studies has found that Ukraine has spent United States aid at a rate of roughly $6.7 billion per month. And if you do the math on that, that means that the money provided in that legislation will be fully exhausted by mid-July. So those are 5 facts on American support for Ukraine after 1 year. But those facts, of course, ask several questions. The biggest one probably being, what's next? We'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think is next. Let us know.